Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Monday edition of Today in Sports Betting. As always, I'm joined by my partner in crime, my co-host. It is the one, the only Scott Reichel. Scott, good morning. How are you?
Doing pretty well. How have you been doing? Congratulations on making the Super Bowl again.
Thanks, man.
I'm sure you are completely tired of winning all the time.
I just it just never gets old. It really doesn't. And it was a real kind of a mixed emotion for me yesterday. Obviously rooting for the hometown team in a way, but I had the Bills as one of my premium plays on the money line, Scott. I thought I was being super smart there, as the Chiefs had not been able to beat anybody by more than one score. The Bills had been destroying people. Bills were number one in DVOA for the last 7. Blah 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 blah. None of it mattered. None of it made a bit of difference, as the Chiefs just found the extra gear, and they went out there and they looked exactly like the Chiefs looked all of last season. Got behind 9 points in the first quarter. No one cares. And I think the Bills scored until the very, very end. I think they scored 6 points the rest of the way until garbage time. So, yeah, we'll take it. It's that Pat Mahomes, pretty good quarterback. Pretty good.
Pretty good. So before we actually get into the, I'd say, more controversial game on the NFL card yesterday.
Right.
Do you have any specific things you want to talk about why Buffalo just got destroyed yesterday? Or do you think it was a matter of talent?
One thing, Scott, pass rush. Pass rush of the Chiefs is the factor that had not been there all season long, and they turned it loose yesterday. Frank Clark showed up. Chris Jones was extra dominant, and they had no answers at all. They didn't rush. They didn't blitz a lot of guys.
They did a pretty good job on Stephon Diggs as well.
Yeah, they were able to shut down Diggs pretty well. Cole Beasley got his underneath, but they kept everything in front of him. And Buffalo still, they came out, they thought about establishing the run a little bit. They didn't have a lot of success, and they said, yeah, we're done with that. And, Scott, I thought, here's the difference in the two coaches to me. Early in the game, Singletary, wide open on a little swing pass there, had a lot of green grass in front of him, drops the ball. Basically gets taken out of the Buffalo offense at that point. On the other hand, McCole Hardman drops a punt, crucial inside the 5-yard line. Buffalo recovers, easy touchdown. They kept McCole Hardman as part of the offense, made a couple of big catches on the next drive, and ended up scoring the touchdown. I think that's the difference in coaching philosophy right there. So,
yeah. Well, especially in today's NFL, it seems like settling for field goals that's a pretty solid segue in the red zone isn't exactly a good recipe to win games.
Not against the Chiefs. Not against most teams.
Right about the Chiefs, I was trying to give you a perfect segue to talk about the NFC game, but that works too.
Yeah, that was when you don't show up for a rehearsal. My bad, dude. Yeah, that was a game. I got to admit, Scott, I had a bad weekend. I had an absolutely dreadful of the four big picks on the NFL games. The sides on each, the totals on each. I got one right. I hit the Chiefs over. Yeah, I thought we
agreed on everything basically.
And really, what sunk me in both games, Scott, surprise pass rushes. I thought after getting dominated by that Tampa Bay defense in the first game, I thought that Green Bay line was going to be able to do a lot better job. They'd been doing it much better lately. In fact, they'd been one of the top units in the NFL over the last couple months as far as keeping the quarterback clean. And they couldn't do it. It was Rodgers was under pressure all day long. What do you think of Brady?
It was a tale of two halves for Brady. He was very good in the first half. It seemed like Tampa converted every single third down they had. Truth is, the touchdown pass to Evans to start the game was completely underthrown. Kevin King just jumped way too early, and it was a touchdown, but that probably should have been picked. If you just watch the play, it's one of the worst time jumps I've ever seen in my life. Then you had the second half, and Brady looked as bad as I thought he was going to for a decent portion of the game. He was useless in the second half before the final drive where they just stalled out the clock, because two of those interceptions, you can argue three, because the Evans one that hit his hands was a bit high. That got intercepted in the red zone. The chuck up to double coverage that got intercepted by the safety was a terrible throw.
Yeah.
And that fadeaway throw on the boundary was atrocious. That was one of the worst throws I've seen all year. So Brady did not look good for the entire second half, but nobody really cares. And Rodgers looked really good. The receivers dropped a bunch of passes, and the team lost. I don't know if he would have made it in on the third down scramble into the end zone.
Sure looked like he was going to be close.
It looked like it was going to be close. Worst case is, even if you say, well, he wouldn't have made it, whatever. My argument is you probably go for it if it's 4th and goal at the 3 instead of 4th and goal at the 9.
I don't think you can make – there's any case you can make he wouldn't have got inside the 3.
I think that people are saying, well, you don't know if he would have made it in. And my argument is it doesn't matter if he makes it in. If he gains you 6 yards, it's a meaningful 6 yards.
Yeah, that was – I was stunned he threw into tight double coverage like that, just instead of running the football. That was –
I thought he was looking off the defensive backs to try to create some extra room towards the boundary.
Yeah, I didn't know he was actually going to go there.
Yeah, but then you have LaFleur's decision, which is just I don't even know how to describe it.
That's next level bad right there. That's next level. That's coach going to be fired next week bad. To go for the field goal instead of the touchdown. With
the thing is, I saw the same decision made last year with Jason Garrett. And I don't know if you remember the game, but it was when the Cowboys ended up traveling to Foxborough to play the Patriots.
Okay.
They were down, I think, 7 with about 3.5 to go. Like 4 to go. It's like 3.5, 4 to go, something like that. And it was like 4th and goal at the 5. And if Garrett kicks a field goal, and what do you know? You get the ball back with like 20 seconds left or like a minute left at your own 10-yard line, and you lose. So I'm just thinking, what is going on right now? I thought that was atrocious. I thought that the end of the first half is a separate story, which we'll get into in a second. But that was just awful by LaFleur. I'm not really sure what was going on. I was watching the game, and I'm thinking to myself, well, at 3.5, my play was basically screwed from the get-go. Once the Hail Mary in the end of the first half happened, I could tell the play was pretty much over. But you're thinking to yourself, all right, maybe, you get to go for it, maybe get an overtime draw, get lucky, something, whatever.
Right.
The field goal, and I'm just thinking, all right, not only am I going to lose the play that I automatically now, but the Packers just basically lost the game on one decision. And
they're done.
Shocker, they didn't get the ball back. So even though there was a controversial pass interference penalty at the end and people were going nuts about it, first of all, I know that they were letting them play for 59 minutes. That's pass interference. Like, he's grabbing the hell out of his jersey. I understand why they didn't want it called, but I show no sympathy to a team that kicks a field goal down 8 with less than 2:30 to go and wants to get bailed out by a pass interference, like, no call. I was fine with it. Did I think it was a penalty? Yes. Would I have been bothered if they didn't call it? No. I was mostly bothered they waited about 2 minutes before actually throwing the flag.
Yeah, that was a problem.
Slow motion. But I didn't really feel bad about the penalty because Green Bay shouldn't have kicked a field goal in the first place. Am I wrong for feeling that way?
So you're a little vindictive. You're like, well, they got what they deserve. So
kinda. It was a matter of saying to themselves, we trust our defense, which has given up 31 points.
Yeah.
To get the ball back. And I'm thinking, I don't know what you've been watching, but 2 first downs or 1.5 first downs ends the game. Because even if you get 1 and punt the ball back to Green Bay, what do you have, 30 seconds left? Your own 20?
It's a binary choice, Scott. Do you have a better chance to make a 4th and whatever it was, 5? Or do you have a better chance for that defense that hadn't done it all day to stop Tom Brady from getting 1 first down?
It's not even a matter of getting it. It's also a matter of just the fact that any defensive penalty is an automatic first down, basically.
Yeah, also true.
So you could even, like, force it up, get a pass interference or a holding penalty, do something, and just get a reset of downs. But to concede like that, it just felt like Green Bay was half waving the flag. Like, maybe if there's 5 minutes left, like, okay, maybe you'll get the ball back, whatever. But, like, you're right around the 2-minute warning.
Well,
really?
And in this era of analytics, I thought LaFleur's answer was one of the worst you could possibly give.
It was really, really bad.
Felt like the right move.
That's pretty bad. That's pure gut feeling. I don't know if it was as bad as Vrabel punting on 4th and 2 at the opposing 39, but it was pretty bad.
Yeah. It was not good at all. That was
not as bad as the end of the first half, which I think we should segue briefly into because I don't know what was going on. Tampa's going to punt. Then Green Bay calls timeout. Then Tampa goes for it. And I'm like, all right, you got 6 seconds left at your 40. I know Suckup can't kick within or outside of 54.
Right. Oh, tops, yeah.
Tops, especially outdoors. So I'm like, all right, so just guard the boundaries and tackle them in bounds, and you're good to go.
No, you play double outside. And you
Yeah,
don't
you
let
you
anybody
pull
get
like a
behind
couple
you.
guys in the end zone, like two safeties over the top to just protect protect the end zone.
They were playing like they didn't want to give up 10 more yards for a better field goal.
I don't know what was happening because I saw Brady chucking it deep, and I thought, oh, it's just a Hail Mary to Mike Evans 10.5.
Right.
And I'm like, wait a second. That looks like Ruggs going down the sideline against the Jets, and he's just wide open for a touchdown. I did not know what happened there. And it reminded me a lot of the New York Giants, Hakeem Nicks Hail Mary against the Packers in the playoff game that many years ago.
Yeah.
And we just knew as soon as the play was over, Green Bay's going to lose.
Yeah, that was it. That was your ball game right there.
And I know Green Bay had a lot of chances after that, but you could tell that after that happened, the game was basically a wrap.
Yep, I agree. I totally agree. So
Then Jones fumbles on like the second play of the second half, and you're just thinking, all right, this game is actually over.
are you looking forward to a KC Tampa Bay Super Bowl? Any early picks or anything?
I'm never going to say no to a Mahomes Brady Super Bowl because, it's entertaining. Even though I really wanted Green Bay to win, it's not a matter of just hating Brady. I just want to see new blood. I know Tampa counts as new blood, but Rodgers Mahomes sounds so entertaining to me in comparison.
Yeah, I agree.
Because truth is, even though Brady had made it to the Super Bowl, I'm not going to take it away from him because I do respect the fact that he made throws when he needed to. He's been pretty underwhelming with the exception of the Washington game. Like the last 2 weeks, he's looked average.
Yeah.
Like I would have rather have seen Rodgers, the MVP, going up against the best quarterback in the entire league and just see them both throw for 400 yards. That's what I wanted. But am I going to complain about the Super Bowl we got? No. But, I do think it would have been better if Rodgers made it.
As a Tampa Bay team that wins with defense. That's not a team that Brady took on his shoulders and led.
That's the thing, though, is they win by defense because they got after the quarterback, but Rodgers statistically torched them. And, bunch of touchdowns and stuff.
Well, but a lot of it came when it didn't matter.
Correct, but I'm saying even in the first half, Rodgers started like 12 for 13. Adams drops that wide open touchdown pass in the red zone. I think Mahomes is going to kill this defense, but I don't know if the offensive line is going to hold up. We'll get into that later on.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, it's going to be he killed him the first time, so we'll see what happens. That's the one where, Tyreek Hill put up 203 yards in the first quarter.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. I believe you and I will probably be chatting about that a little bit later. So.
Yep.
All right, so fun day. One NFL game left, but boy, Scott, we got a lot of NBA games left. Holy mackerel, including your favorite. It's we're going to do college first, right? We're going to talk college first.
Yeah, I'll do college first.
Okay, so let's talk about a little Big East battle. We got Virginia, who's starting to play some good basketball after struggling early in the season, taking on Syracuse, Scott, and the kind of the originators of that pack line defense there. So who you got here? Virginia.
No, the spread in this game is
7, right?
Wait, what?
I got Virginia -7.
Yeah.
And 130 for a total.
Yep, that's what I have as well.
All right. Tell me why Virginia's not going to roll in this one.
Well, the main reason why they wouldn't roll is because of the fact that Syracuse has actually been playing really well lately. If you actually just look at how they've been doing. In conference play, they struggled originally, losing 3 of the first 4 games. Well, they beat Boston College in the second game of the season. But other than that, though, when they started the full-on college slate, started out pretty poorly, ended up losing 3 of its first 4 conference games. However, since then, smacked Miami by 26 at home, smacked a ranked Virginia Tech team by 18, which was an impressive win, which I watched a decent amount of. Meanwhile, Virginia is Virginia. You lose a game or 2 here and there to the likes of San Francisco and Gonzaga. So, the WCC, sleeper conference. No, but actually, Virginia's been rolling ever since. Just the fact that this defense has been clicking. It's given up less than 69 points in each of its last 6 games. Given up just really nothing on any given possession. Just, Virginia's defense just takes and forces you to grind out an entire possession. And the issue I have with Syracuse is the fact that this team is night and day in comparison to home and road splits. Syracuse is 9-4 overall, 1-3 on the road, 1-3 against the spread. This team overall just isn't very good on the highway. And Virginia's undefeated at home, undefeated in conference. And Virginia's going to have an answer for Syracuse's offense. Plus, Syracuse's defense, which has played better lately, has really not been as good as it usually has been.
Right.
I know Pittsburgh has been surprisingly decent in the ACC. You can't give up 96 points to Pittsburgh on the road, including 60-plus points in the second half. You can't do that if you're Syracuse.
Were you looking?
Syracuse a couple games ago played Pittsburgh, and in that
Six,
game gave up 96 points.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was looking.
Second half.
I was looking at the first. I was looking at the first Pittsburgh game where they gave up 63, but
I don't know how you give up 60-plus points in a half if you're Syracuse.
You're not good.
And it wasn't even free throws. That game was a blowout, so it wasn't even like scramble points galore. You had no scramble points. They just gave up 60-something points outright. I think Virginia's going to win. Syracuse, until they show me something on the highway, I can't pick them. Because every year seems to be great in the carrier and awful on the road, and this year's the same exact story. So I'll have to lean to Virginia.
Yeah, they've been dreadful on the road for every game except the Boston College blowout. But
now the one area that maybe you can look at Syracuse is the fact that Virginia has a look-ahead game at Virginia Tech up next. So maybe the look-ahead, but I don't see it because you have a 5-day gap in between both games. It's not like you have an immediate 2-day recovery. So.
No, and this is a pretty good little rivalry here between Virginia and Syracuse too. They played some tight games here in the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that gives me slight pause is Virginia kind of playing a crappy game against Georgia Tech last time out there at home, scraping by with a 2-point win as an 8.5-point favorite. I don't love that. You got a feeling on the total at all?
Truth is, even though money has come in on the under, of course, you have Syracuse and Virginia, so usually money comes in on unders in that game. I'm actually going to lean to the over. I think this total is a little bit too low. Virginia, I know, is known, of course, for its elite defense, but offensively, it scored at least 80 points in two of its last 3 games, I should say, including an 85-point showing against Clemson. And Clemson has a pretty solid defense. I know Clemson has started to implode a little bit, especially after Florida State killed them over the weekend. But Clemson, very solid defense. Virginia still scored 85. I think that Syracuse's defense, if you actually watch it play, really not that great.
Right.
And if you look at how it's performed on the road this season, gave up 63 to Boston College, but Boston College is awful. Gave up 79 to Rutgers, gave up 81 to North Carolina, and gave up 96 to Pittsburgh. I think Virginia has a decent chance to score 70-plus in this game, like something along those lines. I'm actually going to lean to the over. Virginia's also been 3-0 to the over in its last 3 games. Yeah. So Virginia is used to having these really low totals because, of course, Virginia. But Syracuse defensively is nowhere near as good as it usually is, and I think that Virginia should have a decent amount of success. And if Virginia scores 75 in this game, something like that, you're looking pretty good for an over.
I would think so.
So I'll lean to the over on that.
Well, this has been a very historically low-scoring series.
Yes, it has. That's why I know it's a little bit of a controversial take. But Syracuse's defense is normally not this bad.
Yeah, true. And last year they played this game. The total was 115.
I had the under, and I think they totaled about 90 or something.
They went over last year. They went. What you're thinking?
The years ago, I'm thinking
the game before they played twice last year. That was the second game.
The first game I had, and I'm pretty sure it was like 20 to 10, like 10 at the half.
Yeah, it was 82 was the total.
That's what I thought. I had the under in that game.
Yeah, 48-34 was your final that one. So, boy, that's it's like betting against the Chiefs. You try to make money betting Virginia unders or overs, and I think bad things happen. But
I'm just saying, though, 3-0 in the last 4 out of 5 for the.
Yeah, this is a different Syracuse team on the road. You're right. It's hard to ignore that. Yeah, I'll play the over with you. All right. I don't love it.
It's not if you're asking me for a total or a side, I feel better about the Virginia side, but I think 130 is just too low because Syracuse defensively on the road is just not very good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any way that Virginia doesn't get to 70 here.
That's what I'm saying. So if that's the case, I got to assume the over's got a decent shot here.
Yeah. All right, that's fair. All right, so that's that game, and then Scott, the other game there, but we've got a kind of a couple of ranked opponents is Texas Tech and West Virginia. People kind of falling asleep on this Texas Tech team, Scott. All of a sudden, you look up, they're 11-4, and
people were sleeping on both these teams this year.
West
Virginia's not, of course, as good in my opinion as Texas Tech, but they're both right next to each other in the rankings, and I feel like nobody has talked about anybody in the Big 12 besides Baylor this year. Kansas used to, and now it's in the middle of a 3-game losing streak, so that's kind of a lost cause. But it's Baylor and everybody else. We've been saying this all year.
Yep.
In the Big 10, in the Big 12, I mean, it's really not that close.
So as far as the numbers go on this one, we've got West Virginia by 1.5 and 136.5 is the total. Injuries look okay. Who you got here?
Well, the thing is that West Virginia, as I said, has been playing pretty well this season despite being underrated. Still 3-3 overall in its last 6 games. So it really has not been playing that well lately. Having said that, anytime you have to travel to Morgantown, it's really tough. I'm going to take a little bit of an interesting play here. I'm going to take West Virginia first half -1.
What's your theory?
My theory is that I think Texas Tech, after having a sandwich game at home against Baylor and losing, before that had to play at Iowa State, at Texas, now has to go on the road again against West Virginia. West Virginia lost its last home game to Texas in a game it probably should have won. I think Texas Tech and Huggins will be very motivated. This game's definitely circled on the calendar. And I think that West Virginia should get off to a fast start, especially with its unique style of defense. I think Texas Tech might have to take a little bit. Texas Tech, even in the game that it won on the road against Texas, was awful in the first half before waking up in the second half. I think it would make a lot of sense for West Virginia to come out, punch them in the mouth, and then maybe blow it in the second half. But it seems like Chris Beard's teams against quality opposition have been more of a second-half team. And for that reason, I think -1 is a little bit too low for a team that should have a pretty hefty home court advantage here.
All right, I'll give you that play. I'm going to take Texas Tech full game on this one. I'm not impressed with this West Virginia team.
I don't blame you. I don't think they're that fully impressive, but I just think in this spot, I think it would make sense for West Virginia to come out with a little bit more energy and just focus in the first half before Texas Tech makes some adjustments. You know that Beard is probably a better coach than Huggins, and I think Texas Tech might win the game. But for first half, I think there's some potential value there.
Okay. Yeah, this is a West Virginia team that's anytime they play a team with a pulse, they haven't done well. They've beat Kansas State, they've beat Iowa State, they beat Oklahoma State by 3. Congratulations. Lost to Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas, and now they're going to play a team that's right on that same level, if not better than any of those teams. So, yeah, I don't care. I don't care about road. I don't care about any of that. Give me Chris Beard against Huggins. Give me Texas Tech all day long. So
fair. I just think the first half might have something.
I don't blame you. Yeah, that's not awful. I don't hate that. I don't hate that as much as I would taking them.
Don't get me wrong. I think this game could be close. I think that West Virginia could be up held 3 at the half, and you're thinking to yourself, Texas Tech's going to win the game. But it would not – I'm assuming you'd agree that West Virginia would, I think, be more likely to come out with a hot start in this game.
Yeah, and, this is a Texas Tech team that has had troubles covering the number.
Pretty well in the second half of these road games or these games, but in the first half, it has sometimes left a little bit to be desired.
Yeah, you're right. All right. So, any thoughts on the total?
Truth is not really. I'd probably lean over, especially since if you look at recent results between these teams, it's kind of a split between overs and unders, but I think I'm going to lean over just because I could see this game featuring a ton of scramble points. I think both teams will try to get up and down a little bit more than people think. West Virginia, if it decides to press a bit more, of course, will speed up the pace. You'll get both teams in foul trouble early on. Plus, this total has gone up from about 135 to 136.5, so there has been a pretty steady amount of money on the over. I'll tail it. I'll lean to the over on this one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nice part about the press. If you beat it, you got a good chance for easy points on the other end. So this is a good veteran squad with Texas Tech. I don't think the press gives them a lot of trouble. They've seen it, been there, done that. I think the over's a solid play there as well. So, cool. All right, anything else on the college card get your attention? It's really kind of there's really just those 2 games and not a lot else as far as there's you have any confidence in Utah State anymore?
I still like Utah State as a team, but of course that loss was pretty underwhelming against Colorado State, but I really think nothing of this UNLV team.
Okay.
So I probably lean in that direction. looking at anything else here, I know that Pine Bluff is on the card. And anytime Pine Bluff's on the card, usually you try to look the other way. Prairie View A&M is 3-0 in conference play.
Yeah.
So I think that Prairie View, after beating the likes of course, Mississippi Valley State, our favorite team, by 46 in its last game, or Pine Bluff's lost each of its last 3. I got to lean Prairie View A&M there because Pine Bluff is just terrible.
Well, MVSU is on this card as well, playing Texas Southern.
Problem is, I don't think Texas Southern's that good, but I feel like you kind of have to at least consider playing that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's Mississippi Valley State still has not won a game yet. They're better against the spread than they usually are. They're 3-10.
That's one of the teams that I also faded yesterday. Personally, I had a parlay with Morgan State as it took on Delaware State, another winless team that's 0-10.
Yeah.
I really want to see like the toilet bowl between Delaware State and Mississippi Valley State, and I just want to see it happen.
Yeah.
0-10 versus, I forgot what Mississippi Valley State is, like 0-12?
13.
0-13? Yeah,
Yep.
So I would love to see that. Give me a tank bowl in college basketball.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That would be fun to see. Of course, you get to see that a lot there in that
conference, which is
in that conference. So
not very pretty.
All right, my friend. Well, that's going to do it for our college basketball show and our NFL recap. So, yeah, should be a fun night of basketball. Make sure that if you're looking for more information on these games or any other games, stop by and check out winnersandwhiners.com, #1 site in the world for predictive sports analysis. And that's going to do it for this segment. We're going to be back with our NBA show here in just a minute. So for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at Winners and Whiners, appreciate you guys watching today. Wish you nothing but the best of luck on all of your plays. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash money back at the window. You guys take care. Have a great day. We'll see you next time on Today in Sports Betting. Bye-bye, everybody.